In video number 6, we will provide insights into the often misunderstood concepts of death, sin, heaven, and hell. So, let's begin with the notion of death. The concept of death in philosophy encompasses diverse perspectives. These range from the materialistic view that everything ceases after death, to dualistic beliefs in mind and body separation, and even the monistic idea suggesting a continuous existence within a broader cosmic framework. Each perspective offers a unique lens for contemplating the nature and significance of death. The fear of death triggers primal emotions in humans that often manifest in the need for saviors, messiahs, and prophets. Some religions highlight death as a transition point to a God-centered utopian afterlife for those who swear allegiance to its doctrine. In this context, religion stands as a beacon of hope, offering the prospect of human immortality in an afterlife filled with abundance and eternal joy. Daily, the cries of humanity resounds towards the heavens in shouts of praise and worship, in a desperate bid to cheat death, and secure a place in this promised utopia. However, what if death simply marks the end of the physical phase in our evolutionary journey? In video number 3, we illustrated that humans are part of an evolutionary journey of self-creation, an ongoing process propelling us toward a higher state of awareness. This process is driven by a desire to achieve oneness with the singular consciousness from which all things emerged. But, how is it possible for a physical entity to achieve oneness with a spiritual being, given that they reside in two separate planes of existence? Well, the answer to this question is rooted in the idea that all entities are spiritual beings tied to physical bodies, with the mind serving as the bridge between the two. Death is the point where the physical body is unable to maintain itself as a single entity and loses self-awareness. The body then dissolves and combines with other elements in the physical universe, while the spirit returns to consciousness. In simple terms, death is the moment the body loses self-awareness, and its spirit returns to consciousness. In the second part of our discussion, let's explore the concept of sin and its understanding in a religious, philosophical, and secular context. The idea of sin plays an important role in shaping moral frameworks and influencing ethical considerations. Across different belief systems, it generally refers to disobedience and moral wrongdoing, often resulting in guilt and the need for redemption or atonement. In a Christian religious context, sin is commonly perceived as disobedience to God's commands. It symbolizes a separation from God, necessitating a need for repentance, forgiveness, and salvation through faith in Jesus Christ. In philosophy, sin is framed within the broader framework of ethics and morality, exploring the concept of guilt and its implications for individual responsibility. Ethical theories like deontology, consequentialism, and virtue ethics offer distinct perspectives on acts considered morally objectionable. In a secular context, sin is often synonymous with unethical behavior. Now, having outlined sin in religious, philosophical, and secular terms, let's consider how sin is understood in the context of the true nature of God. Well, given that God is self-sufficient and has no needs, it follows that rules, laws, or notions of disobedience and morality would hold no meaning or relevance for such an entity. Take a moment and think about this. Humans designed rules and laws to reduce chaos in their societies, but a self-sufficient God exists in a state of perfection and is unaffected by human behavior. Therefore, the notion that a God without needs designed rules for humans is both meaningless and false. God is perfection unfolding, and therefore has no need to make rules for anyone. Humans can unlock the power of God, but to do so, they must first open the channel connecting humans with God. This concept is explored in video number 4 as the Second Awakening. Essentially, to develop a closer connection with God, humans must first develop closer relations with each other, as God is one. In summary, sin is any activity or behavior that increases division among humans. In the final part of our discussion, let's explore the concept of heaven and hell and how they are understood in the context of the true nature of God. So, how should we think about these two ideas? Well, if sin depicts behaviors that promote separation and division among humans, then hell is the direct consequence of these negative behaviors. Using the understanding of God, hell is not a physical place. Instead, it manifests as the negative human experience of wars, famine, hunger, division, hate, fear, and loneliness. Hell is therefore an integral part of our daily experience, because humans are deeply divided. Heaven, on the other hand, represents a diametrically opposite experience for humans. Heaven is also not a physical place, but it is envisioned as the state of existence that humans will create once they achieve the state of a second awakening. This experience involves living together without fear, in a state of abundance and happiness. So, how can we illustrate that heaven is not a physical place? Well, let's examine the perspective of Jesus, who instructed his disciples to pray, saying, "Our Father which art in heaven." In this context, Jesus is implying that God is in heaven. However, if God is omnipresent, then by definition, he is everywhere. So, how can God be both in heaven and everywhere simultaneously? The most plausible explanation is that heaven is not a physical location. Instead, it represents a condition or a state of existence. Jesus, in this instance, is revealing the nature of God rather than identifying his location. Consequently, the notion that heaven is a specific place or location is shown to be false. In summary, heaven and hell, within the framework of the new God, are not physical places, but represent two opposite realities that humans can experience before they die. In conclusion, the fear of death among humans stems from a lack of awareness that humans are immortal spiritual beings, who share their existence with an immortal spiritual consciousness. Additionally, we explored the notion of sin in the Christian religion, which revolves around the idea that an omnipotent God established rules for humanity. However, this contradicts the idea that an all-powerful God who is unaffected by human activity would impose rules or require obedience. God is a singular consciousness, and any action causing human division would directly contradict the unity inherent in this singular nature. So, while God does not directly punish humans for their divisive behaviors, the negative consequences of such actions impose their own form of punishment, such as wars, hunger, and unnecessary human suffering. Finally, hell is not a place reserved for punishment. Instead, it is the daily experience of fear, anxiety, and general unhappiness resulting from the consequences of human division. Similarly, heaven is not a place reserved for an afterlife of joy and happiness. Rather, it is the transformational experience that comes from a second awakening. For a deeper exploration of the second awakening, refer to video number 4 in this series. Here are 3 important questions and their respective answers from this video. Question number 1. What is human death? Death is the point along the human evolutionary journey when the body loses its ability to be self-aware. This is marked by a moment of separation, where the body dissolves and returns to the physical universe, and the immortal spirit returns to consciousness. Question number 2. What is sin? Sin is any human behavior that creates division and separation among individuals. Sin and division stands in direct opposition to the singular essence of God, because God is one, and we are one. Question number 3. What is heaven and hell? Heaven and hell are not physical places, but represent two opposite realities that humans can experience before they die. Hell corresponds to the daily human reality of fear, unhappiness, and scarcity, while heaven is the reality we can create through a second awakening. If you found this video informative, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. These actions will help us share these inspirations and grow the channel. In our next video, we will discuss the barriers to the second awakening. Much of the information in this video is extracted from my recent book entitled, Welcome to the New God: Truths About God and Who We Are. A link to this book is in the description below.